Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
the sad reality of being a K-pop idol. Let's see.
Being a K-pop idol looks like the dream job for many people.
Would you want to be a K-pop idol? Yes or no?
No.
What's the real price these idols have to pay behind the scenes? From suffering physical and psychological harm to being exploited by their companies, the reality of K-pop idols. Over the years, many idols came forward and shared their truths about what they had to endure just to be able to make music and go on stage to perform for their fans. On November 18th, a former third-generation idol exposed the horrors he had faced during his time in the K-pop industry, and it was none other than DPR Ian. While many fans know Ian as a solo artist and a co-founder of Dream Perfect Regime, he began his artistic journey as a member of the group C-Clown, where he went by the name Rome. C-Clown was active between the years 2012 and 2015, and while it
for a group, C-Clown
was a very short time for the group, a lot of bad things happened that left a permanent mark on Ian's psyche. While Ian never mentioned his experience of being a C-Clown specifically, based on what he shared during one of his Instagram live streams, many people believe that he opened up about his time in the industry. According to what he said, he signed what's known as a slave contract, which was supposed to last 7 to 8 years, stating that the things he had to go through in those 3 years were absolute hell. He compared it to walking into the lion's den and signing his life away. He also alluded that the company treated him less than human and messed him up almost every single day. Ian clarified that there were never any issues with finances or being paid, but rather how brutally the company and their manager treated the group. As an example, he revealed that one of the group's members had his ribs broken and that fistfights with their manager were a part of their everyday. Ian confessed that the company didn't treat them like—
I wonder is if they know this before, they sign it, but they feel like they have to sign it because they need the money.
Back then, 2012, they debuted, so probably in 2000s. Maybe it wasn't, internet wasn't widely available. Maybe they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. Right now, when you become a K-pop idol, if you start being a trainee today, you know that. And if you don't know that, I don't know what you're doing. But somebody, has to tell you that.
But if they know that, it doesn't mean it's okay either. It's even making more desperate. It shows the desperation, like times are not good.
Times are not good. People are desperate. It's like that's like why it's.
Like as a parent, how can you just send your kid?
Because the parents are probably struggling too.
Yeah, that's tough.
So, but
I always get nervous already for when they send them off to training. Because they really take your kid. Your kid doesn't get to go home. Like, to me, at first, I thought it was like, okay, they go and report and then they come back home.
I think if they live in the city, they get to go home. It's just like if you don't live in the city, you kind of have to move and then you live in the dorms. So I think it just depends where you live. Because I think when we watched Baby Monster's, training process, the international girls, they stayed in the dorm, but I think the girls that live there, they get to go home, if I remember correctly, or something like that.
Like human beings, but rather like a discarded piece of garbage. In addition to his time in the group, he opened up a little bit more about his struggles with mental health and how—
more likely to pick someone from the dorm than the ones that go report back home.
those issues are perceived in the K-pop industry. In the past, Ian admitted to having DID, or dissociative identity disorder, a condition where a person has multiple different identities, each with their own name, personality, and characteristics. He strongly believes that his DID was triggered because of what they had to endure with their company, and the continuous physical and psychological harm made his condition even worse. Ian once revealed that hearing about K-pop idols struggling with depression is common, noting they face not only mental challenges, but intense physical strain too.
But that's not just K-pop idols, so many musicians overall face this. Like, look how many die from drug overdose, and why does that happen? Because they're depressed. They take drugs to cure depression. Well, not to cure, but to kind of get away from the depression. This is not a K-pop thing. This is, and honestly, this might be life thing overall. It's just, it's more noticeable in artists, K-pop idols, because they're public figures. Like, we don't know how many people take drugs because they're depressed and they just overdose like a regular people. This doesn't make the news. So we hear about it when it's like, Amy Winehouse, the Liam from One Direction, all that. We hear it, but regular people, they probably deal with the same stuff, and same with K-pop idols. It's not unique to being a K-pop idol.
Physical pain K-pop idols endure is difficult to imagine. The extent of human cruelty is shocking, making it remarkable that some idols can still manage to smile after everything they've been through. The boy group TRCNG know how incredibly ruthless and vicious these K-pop companies can be. The group's member Taeson is set to re-debut in the group UNAME in the near future. In a recent video posted on UNAME's YouTube channel, he became honest and vulnerable about the harm he was made to bear under TS Entertainment. While he had to withstand a lot of verbal harm, it was nothing compared to the physical harm that happened every day. Things like vacuums, bats, or broken mops were kept in their practice room for physical punishment. The company's trainees were also robbed of their money and were forced to buy things or drinks by the company's CEO and some of their choreographers. Taeson admitted to dealing with everything because he wanted to be an idol so desperately. The members in general were too scared to admit anything to their parents, so they just suffered in silence. The situation escalated, and at this point, Taeson was brainwashed into believing that everything that happened in the company was completely normal. However, he hoped that once the group debuted, the situation would settle down, but the psychological and physical torment continued. Taeson recalled how one day one of the members' actions were misunderstood by some members of the group's staff team. As a result, the staff threw a vacuum at the member, slamming him against the wall and even smothering him. Taeson shared his regrets about not being able to do anything when he saw the member trying desperately to get away. It got to the point where he and another member of the group, Woyop, filed a lawsuit against TS Entertainment and paired up with Dispatch to release evidence of all of the harm the company inflicted on them. On top of everything, the members had to endure living in terrible conditions, often having no electricity or running water as the company failed to pay utility bills. The members also had to buy their own food and clothing, and the company would only provide their meals if they were practicing late into the night. Taeson revealed that he was once rushed to the emergency room due to abdominal pain from the low-quality food they had to eat since they couldn't afford anything else. The group's dorm was also basically falling apart and was in no way good enough to house all 10 members of the group. Fortunately, poor living conditions are somehow common for trainees or idols who have just debuted. Some companies cannot afford to house their idols in luxurious dorm rooms, so sometimes these idols have to brave these non-ideal conditions until their finances improve and they can move to a much better place. Before New Jeans became megastars, the group had to live in dorms with visible mold in the corners of the room and cockroaches running around. Obviously, it's not easy to live in such horrible conditions, and it not only takes a toll on their mental health, but it can seriously affect their physical health as well. Miju from the group Lovely shared that living in their dorm severely affected her immune system. According to Miju, all members used to be very busy and there was no time for them to clean their dorms. As a result,
I wonder how do regular people live? Because, you know, we're hearing this, it's like, oh, sounds harsh, but if that's just average life quality in Korea, you know, then, I mean, they live average life.
We never really seen, like, someone day in the life in South Korea, like...
Right, I know, that's what I do wonder, you know, I have no idea, so I'm not saying it is, but, you know...
I would think of it like college students.
Yeah. If, you know, a lot of college students, you know, they struggle too, you know, they eat on ramen, the dorms are not the best, you know, I don't...
Because this is their first time kind of being like an adult in a way. Yeah. They have to take care of her and look after themselves.
Yeah, you know, roaches running around too. It's like not uncommon. That's like, I wonder what if, you know, if everybody lives like way above. Basically, what I'm saying is, if they come from a wealthy family and they get sent down to this, yeah. But I think a lot of people that do try to be trainees, they probably come from even worse living conditions. So this might not be that bad to them. It might be an upgrade. You know, it's easy to sit here and judge from a Westerner's perspective, and the living conditions are pretty good. But I do wonder what it is on average in Korea.
Living space became a dirty and even hazardous environment. At one point, their dorm got so messy and dirty that if they wore white socks, they would turn black immediately.
Okay, but do you have to clean your own fucking dorm? What is that? Like, do you expect somebody to come and clean your dorm for you? I don't understand this kind of why. Like in college, if your dorm is dirty, you gotta clean it. Ain't nobody coming to clean, don't have a housemaid.
Unless you hire one.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can hire one, but...
The worst part of it was undoubtedly their kitchen, as the members didn't have time to wash the dishes, so dirty dishes started to pile up. The whole place stunk because of their food waste, which would rot if they didn't take out their garbage.
That's just common thing being an adult. You wash your dishes.
But these are the kids.
To me, this seems like, first time away from parents, they kind of had to grow up real quick with the quickness. didn't have like the training. Like what? The dishes didn't piled up and trash wasn't taken out.
The list of things idols have to face just so they can fulfill their dream of becoming an idol is endless. It's hard to determine if the physical harm is the worst or if it's the emotional turmoil they often have to suffer through. One thing is certain though, these two things go hand in hand. The pressure on these young hopefuls is intense and their bodies and figures are often scrutinized. If they don't look perfect, then they have to put their bodies under constant stress to achieve what's considered perfect by their company. Because of the ruthless training regime and strict diets these idols have to follow, their bodies start to slowly give out. An anonymous trainee development team member stated that most female trainees completely lose their periods due to all the diets, intense physical training, and restrictions on food. These female trainees are often very young and at a stage where their bodies are still growing, but because they don't eat properly and only focus on exercising, their bodies don't have the chance to develop properly. The team member also touched on the fact that these girls don't usually understand what it means to not get their periods because of the lack of proper education in the entertainment industry. One former trainee nicknamed Gayon by the press revealed that if she didn't reach the desired weight, she would have to face punishments from the staff. Due to the strain on her physical health, Gayon's body would become so weak that if she ate just a little bit, she would have to be rushed to the hospital as she was constantly suffering from intestinal inflammation. Brave Girls Heyron also exposed how toxic the K-pop industry can be when it comes to body image. She herself had to go through grueling rehearsals from dusk till dawn, and in some cases, the trainees under her age...
Yeah, I think the two biggest problems in K-pop is, well, the third, I guess, abuse too, like physical, with the... Earlier they said the bats and shit, that's just, what the fuck is that? But like, aside from the physical abuse, I don't think physical abuse is as rampant, like especially in the bigger companies. I think maybe it's more like those broke companies that just start off, you know, they whatever. But in the major companies, I think the two biggest issues is the contracts, like the, you know, where the artists barely get paid, and the nutritional, just misinformation. I think those are the two biggest things.
Health.
Yeah, because I think though I have the problem with those two things. The other stuff that you have to train hard, all that, I don't have a problem with that. I think you have to in every area of life. If you want to achieve something, you have to work hard. So training hard, long hours, dancing, whatever, it is what it is. That comes with the territory. However, yes, starving shouldn't be a thing though. I don't. That's wrong, and they should get paid more fairly. Basically, what I'm saying is they should get paid so that the effort they put in and the struggle they go through is worth it. Because if you go through all that struggle
get paid at all,
and then you get paid 10% of the revenue, then what was all that for, you know? So then it's basically all for nothing, and that's why we're complaining about it. But if you have to go through struggle and, you know, you make it and you get paid fairly, then so what? Deal with it. Because, like, to be an NBA player, shit, ain't easy. Probably as hard, if not harder, as K-pop, minus that bullshit diet. But at the end of the day, when you make it rain too. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, for K-pop to be fair, they gotta get paid. And this nutrition bullshit where people starve, like, come on, what are we doing?
Agency were forbidden from consuming even water. Severe stomach issues and prolonged bleeding were a very common thing among the trainees. Hyeron also revealed that the pressure of maintaining the perfect figure resulted in some people around her resorting to dangerous diet pills that cause severe dehydration or even seizures. Female idols are also often coerced into non-consensual acts with their superiors. Former K-pop trainee Vivian...
Yeah, I never knew this, but I always had a feeling that does happen more often than we think.
Jo Hyung-gi shared that she was forcefully asked to have a romantic relationship with a producer so she would have a better chance in the entertainment industry. If she submitted herself to this relationship, it would advance her career. Thankfully, Vivian refused and left the entertainment industry shortly after to pursue a career that is much less dangerous. It's gotten to the point when veteran idols who have been in the industry for a long time try to warn younger idols about older men in the industry who might not have the best intentions. In 2016, C-Star gave such a warning to IOI stating that male seniors won't leave them alone since they are rookies and that it'd be for the best if they just stayed at home and didn't meet up with any guys. Additionally, Nara from the group Hello Venus once shared that her company showed her an actual list of dangerous senior colleagues for whom she should look out. While we sincerely hope that these young female idols are being looked out for and protected, it might not be as easy, and they are still facing a huge risk.
I guess add that to the third problem in K-pop industry. I forgot about this. But
that's a crazy resolution to just say, okay, here's the people you gotta watch out for, instead of adjusting them.
That is also a problem. Not talked about enough. We barely hear about it. I
But we
feel
have suspected it.
I have suspected it, but I didn't like. We don't hear about it, but it's kind of obvious. As I said in one of the reactions, the way like the what do you call it? The judges, coaches, whatever, look at those girls that are like 14-year-olds. It's just so creepy.
Risk of being harassed and taken advantage of. It doesn't seem like things are going to get much better for them either. When new Dean Connie bravely spoke about her experience with workplace harassment.
Okay, yeah, we ain't doing that. Somebody didn't say hi to her. Oh no, cry me a river.
Many people were hopeful that the laws would change to strengthen the protection of idols. Unfortunately, her case was dismissed and closed because technically, idols are not viewed as workers under the Labor Standards Act. This means that idols are unprotected by labor laws, and there's no way for them to seek justice if they're subjected to any sort of mistreatment. This explains why those who suffered in the past couldn't speak out, and why newer idols may face the same challenges. As a Twitter user best put it, there's been stories for years about trainees and idols being mistreated by company people, and the reason why they get away with it is because idols are not even legally considered workers. This is incredibly
That is interesting. How do you fix that? Because making them workers is also not exactly financially beneficial for the idol either, though. Because workers is like on fixed salary, right? So while you're a young group, it might be that salary might be good, but if you become to like Blackpink's level, let's say, and you still get paid, you will still get paid the same salary because you're now a company worker. So you're not gonna get paid percentage of the profits. You're gonna get paid the salary. So that doesn't incentivize them the same way either.
It's kind of like the waitresses in a way. You have a base pay, but then if your company does well, there's a tip that you receive, bonus.
But bonus is discretionary. It's not like guaranteed. I mean, I guess you could have a guaranteed bonus over profit.
Like a percentage of that. Have a base pay, but then when there's a bonus, percentage of that bonus.
I guess you could, yeah.
The thing is that people do all or nothing.
I think, I think that's a solution, but companies are not going to be incentivized to do that though. They probably would have to pass a law to require idols to be employees and then to offer this type of compensation, that base pay plus basically percentage-wise of the profit, something like that, like a share of what they bring in. Yeah.
But I wonder how much it would be. Would it be that outrageous to give them a livable wage?
Well, it's not even. It's not so much about the wage. They could just give them minimum wage. It's more so about the fact that they're bound by employees' laws. Because right now they're like basically independent contractors, whatever. So they're not bound by the same laws. But it's more.
It should be different because the relationship is different between those who are like contractors doing a service and those who are like into entertainment.
It is a little different, I do agree, but it's also different than the regular employees too, though. You know, it's a little. I wonder how it is in the West. But they're not employees in the West, though. I don't Meg Thee Stallion does not work for. She doesn't get paid salary from.
I think they have their
DMG.
contracts. What does their contract say?
I think their contracts is just kind of because they have agents too. Yeah, they're not employees. I don't think they're employees. Cause like thinking of NBA, that's why they have like unions in NBA too that negotiate that. I think the solution is to have like a K-pop artist union, and basically every K-pop group starts boycott, so they get the union, and then union deals with the labels, and they all have to agree with that. I think that's the solution actually, the union.
They don't have one?
I don't know, but I think the union would be the solution to this problem.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.